Please remain standing for the national anthems of the Philippines and of Timor-Leste. You may now take your seats. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the launch of the Larry Ilagan Lecture Series of the Initiatives for International Dialogue in celebration of its 20th anniversary. This would not have been possible without the all-out support of the University of the Philippines, which is celebrating its centennial, thus our honor also of having this forum part of their centennial lectures. We are very happy to have the presence of our good friend and special guests and all his delegation, who will be introduced formally in a little while, who has graciously agreed to honor IID's 20th year in the same auditorium where we launched the Asia-Pacific Conference and Coalition for East Timor 14 years ago. At that time, I had no reading glasses. I was wearing jeans. Now I'm wearing barong. I had a little hair. My baby, eldest daughter, was still a baby then. Now she's a fresh woman in this great university. We also pay tribute to our other distinguished guests and panel of reactors. We are very happy and humbled by all of your presence, and we hope to have a very enriching encounter this afternoon. I am Gus Miklat, IID's Executive Director, and your moderator for this event. I request you to kindly switch off your cell phones. 14 years ago, there was no cell phones, pager lang, or put them on silent mode during the duration of the forum. Let us begin. May I now call on the President of the University of the Philippines, Dr. Emerlinda Aroman.
Excellency, President Jose Ramos-Horta, and members of your party, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Secretary, the Secretary of Agriculture is here, Arthur Yap, our good friend and very supportive cabinet member, the honorable members of the UP Board of Regents, our co-sponsor for this event, the Initiatives for International Dialogue, headed by its chairperson, Undersecretary Alex Padilla, and who is also represented here by its executive director, Mr. Miklat. Members of the UP community, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Your Excellency, I wish to inform you that the university is celebrating its 100th year this year, and therefore we are deeply honored and grateful that you have come at this time. For the past 7 months, we in the University of the Philippines have been listening to distinguished scholars and experts, both national and international, as part of the UP Centennial Lecture Series, a most important part of our centennial celebrations. Some have spoken to us about the university itself, offering their candid assessments of the road that we have traveled so far, and suggestions for directions we might follow in our next century. Others have spoken to us about subjects close to their hearts, either because they fall within their own area of expertise or because they represent causes which they have made their own. Those of us who have sat through most, if not all, of the lectures consider ourselves fortunate. Such an opportunity is not likely to happen in the very near future. My colleagues here well know what these lectures are about, so I hope they will not mind too much if I repeat myself again for the benefit of our guest of honor and his party. The Centennial Lecture Series consists of 4 sets of lectures. The first represents the UP Insider's view. 12 of the university's finest minds are guiding us through the process of self-assessment. These distinguished colleagues were selected not only for their reputations as scholars, but for their commitment to the university. The second set represents the view from outside and is delivered by persons who do not belong to our community, but who have a stake in our country's education and take an interest in UP in particular. They are sharing with us their insights on our vision and mission as it is perceived by the larger community, focusing on areas which, to their mind, need to be addressed. We invited them to be part of this exchange as a hedge against our missing the forest for the trees, which sometimes happen when discourse is limited to insiders. The third set of lectures is by top experts, both from UP and from other institutions, addressing burning issues of the day such as poverty alleviation, global warming, indigenous peoples, the state of Philippine education, the state of Philippine health, etc. This set was envisioned as a reminder to the UP community that the country looks to UP as a source of ideas that will not only advance knowledge, but will guide policy. It looks to UP for some solutions to problems that afflict it. Now that our charter has formalized our status as the national university, this awareness becomes even more imperative. Finally, for the fourth set of lectures, we have identified individuals who, through their life work, have attained great distinction in their respective fields and have thus earned the respect of the world. As the national university, UP is also tasked with shaping the minds of a future generation of leaders. The lectures in this fourth set are an opportunity for our faculty, students, and staff to meet some of these visionaries and to listen to what they have to say about our world in these perilous times. Earlier, we listened to 2 Nobel laureates, Dr. David Jonathan Gross, 2004 Nobel Prize winner for physics, and Dr. Douglas North, Nobel Prize winner for the economic sciences. We also listened to Harvard University's Scientist of the Year, our very own Dr. Baldomero Oliveira. Today's special guest, President Jose Ramos-Horta of East Timor, Nobel Laureate for Peace, is another such illustrious person. Your Excellency, you do us a great honor in accepting our invitation. your willingness to reach out to us, to share with us your insights, the insights you have gleaned from your own country's struggle, and your own courageous efforts as one of its main helmsmen, can only be met with deep gratitude. It is generosity of spirit like this which lightens the burden of nations like ours. We thank you too for accepting our dinner invitation for this evening. On behalf of my university, I thank you most warmly for this, and I take a deep pleasure in welcoming you to the University of the Philippines.
Thank you, Dr. Roman, and thank you, Chancellor Cao and Dean Mavic Leonen, for immediately, without batting an eyelash, agreeing to co-host this symposium with us. May I now call on the chairman of IID, Attorney Alexander Padilla, the current Undersecretary of the Department of Health, former Undersecretary of the Department of Interior, and perhaps the most fearless and honest Customs Commissioner we ever had in the Philippines, and who was the lead lawyer of the foreign participants of UPSET 1 in this 1994, where they were about to be deported, to give us his own version of our welcome remarks for IID. Alex?
Thank you, Gus, for introducing me, even if I was not the guest speaker. Excellency, President Jose Ramos-Horta of the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, and his distinguished panel, Secretary Arthur Yap. Yes. President Roman and the distinguished Board of Regents, UP College of Law, Dean Marvic Leonen, our distinguished members of the board and members of the Initiatives for International Dialogue. We see our old friends, R.C. Constantino, Fern Peña, distinguished students of the UP College of Law, our friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is with some great pride and pleasure for me to stand here today in order to welcome our distinguished and honored guest, President Jose Ramos-Horta. Today is the launching as well of the Larry Ilagan Lecture Series. Larry Ilagan was a human rights lawyer in Mindanao and the former vice chair of the Initiatives for International Dialogue. His widow is a current congresswoman and an IID board member.